All right, so welcome to today's webinar. Thank you for joining me. Thank you also to Frederick, our Chief Strategy Officer, that is going to be our speaker today. Hi, Frederick.
Hello, Nushka.
Maybe we give just a minute or two in case somebody's running late, you know how it is, always meeting after meeting. So yeah, maybe we can just give them a couple of minutes to make sure that we have everybody before we jump into it. How is your Wednesday going?
Very well. Yeah. I think, yeah. Middle of the week is always you have to get over the hump, but we're over it. We're over it now.
Almost the weekend.
Yeah.
Not that we can do much now with all the restrictions of COVID and so on.
Yeah. It's a Groundhog Day every day.
Yeah. All right. It's already 2 minutes past, so I think we can just start and get right into it. So as I said before, thank you very much, everybody, for joining. Today, we're going to talk about how you can engage with your online customers better and convert more of them. Basically, how to stop selling and actually help them buy and make that decision once they visit your website. First, I would like to start with explaining a bit of customer engagement evolution and what we have seen it's happening, like the shift in the market regarding customer engagement and how customer behavior and needs are also changing as technology evolves. So if we look at 1995, the majority of customer interactions were happening face-to-face. So you would actually need to go to a physical store to talk to somebody to get the expertise and learn about products. It was sometimes also telephone or communication via media. The point is that it was all no relationship building. It was very time consuming for the customer and there was no on-the-spot engagement. If we move into early 2000s, we saw static online catalogs popping up on many websites. They become fancier. We started using different web forms, which a lot of companies still use today, believe it or not. And also communication via emails. This still provided very limited interaction. And the main point here is that it was a very much one-way communication from brands to customers and not the other way around. If we fast forward to around 2015, this is when we saw like a big boom in social media networks. We had Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and many more that are not even on this slide. It was a big emphasis on multimedia, blogs, basically building that peer-to-peer interaction and investing in pre-recorded videos, basically, which we all know that they do help, but they're not very engaging. So if we look at the situation now, we can see that everything on the market is about live video engagement. It's how customers want to communicate with brands. They want this live aspect. They want to be able to ask questions. That's why platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter have developed actually a live video streaming services. Also, we have YouTube Live, Facebook Live, Instagram Live. And it really works well because it provides this real-time customer engagement. And later on, we're going to see how Whisbi actually also does that, but on your own website. So basically, you own the whole, process. It's not on another platform. It's where your customers are, and this is on your website.
So I think that's an extremely important distinction. That
yeah.
Live video engagement is useful to the brand if they can control it, not if it's in the hands of somebody else. And that's really what we are focusing on.
Yes, totally agree. Now this is an interesting slide. Do you remember these companies, Friedrich?
Of course. I was a client back in the day, and these examples may seem like they're from ancient history, but one of the point that we wanted to make with this is to say that these companies continue to sell products, but they forgot to think about how do people buy those products. Yeah. So people stopped wanting to have to go to a video store to get a video. Instead, Netflix delivered it straight to your home. and Amazon delivered the book straight to your home with recommendations, with selection, with all of the interactive capabilities that people wanted. Same thing for Uber, to allow you to step away from the idea of standing out and holding up your hand, but actually getting the ride to come and pick you up. And Netflix and Amazon have even completely reinvented the product, not just how it's sold, but the actual product itself is now a digital product. It's something completely different. And we'll see. It remains to be seen if Uber is able to create digital transportation for us, but that's still somewhat in the future, I guess.
Wouldn't that be nice, especially now when it's impossible to get a flight anywhere?
Yeah.
So basically, what we are seeing that whoever makes it easier to buy wins. Is that correct to assume?
Yeah, I mean that's one of the keys. I mean, you still have to have something that people want to buy, but even if you have something that people might want, if you don't make it easy to buy or easy for people to make decisions or for people to feel comfortable with their decisions, then you will have barriers. And so what do I mean, we've all seen and experienced in our own lives huge shifts in our behavior. And McKinsey recently released some research that I found really interesting. And they said that 75% of consumers have changed their shopping behavior in the recent months, either due to economic pressures or due to inability to go to stores, or the priorities have changed, or whatever the situation is, they've changed their behavior.
It's fascinating.
And of those, 20% have tried something new. So a new way to buy something, or a different way to get it brought to your house. And there's even other research I saw that in Italy, 13% of consumers bought online for the first time this year. So people who've never ever bought anything online, 13% of the population of Italy now has. That's an additional upscale. Aligned with this research as well. So of the people who have tried something new, 80% say they're going to continue to use it. And for me, that's a really important point, in that this is not something that's transitional. It's not that, okay, we get a vaccine, or they stop the lockdowns, or they open the stores again and we go back to normal. That's not the case. So to me, the reading of that is, not only is there a new normal, but this is a change that was already happening, that has been accelerated by our current situation. So it's not something that's dependent on the specific details of how we live today, but it's the specific details of how we live today have accelerated something that's already happening.
Yeah, it's essentially making people's lives easier. So I totally get the point why they would continue to use it in the future.
Yeah, exactly. And you get used to it, right? Yeah. And another piece of data, which I also find interesting, is that 55% of people who are in the market for a new car right now, so people who are looking for a car, would prefer not to ever have to go to a dealer. And car purchase is something that has been very much focused on the dealership. You want to go, you see the car, you smell the seats, whatever. You play with the radio. And that people are willing to give that up. So that's a change in behavior. Then, as companies act in this space, we have to respond to this need. So people connect with us, people contact you on the website, and the brand and the company has to be ready to respond to that. It has to be active and poised to respond to these leads that are coming in. And Harvard Business Review recently published a study where they looked at over 40 brands and 1.25 million sales leads, and to measure response time versus conversion. And the ideal response time is less than 5 minutes. And importantly, if you let a lead sit there for 10 minutes, the likelihood to convert it goes down by 4 times. So 25% less, like 25% of the likelihood. And if it sits for 2 hours, it's 60 times less likely. So if you have a lead that comes into you, comes to your website, somebody wants to buy a product or wants to find out, if you don't respond right away, they're gone.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting, actually, because, I'm a marketer myself, and people were always talking about lead response time when it comes to B2B sales, but now we are seeing the same demands also in B2C customers. they're increasingly buying online, and they want to be attended when they are shopping and browsing your website. They don't want to wait when you have the time to call them. But many times what happens is this, right?
So is this what the typical lead handling looks like, Ushka?
Not at Whisbi, but in many other tech companies it is, yes.
Yeah, so somebody visits the website, they fill out a form, they get the data from that form ends up in the CRM system, they get a few mails back and forth, they respond, they don't respond, they get qualified, they get scheduled a call, and a week goes by, and then maybe somebody will call you, or you might get an appointment. This is not responding to what consumers want, or B2B or B2C, it's the same, huh?
Yeah. Totally agree.
Although that is typically what you see in so many cases.
Yeah, it's like, it's all about the brand. The brand decides when they want to engage with you, not the consumer. And this is what we need to change fundamentally, because your website is your storefront, right?
Right, exactly. And so you spend all this energy, you spend all this time and money and creativity to get people to come to your store, either your digital store, your website, or your physical store. Lots of hard work, huge amounts of money are spent on attracting people and putting the store in the right location, getting the traffic in front of the store, so either digital traffic or physical traffic by putting the shop on the right street, and so on and so forth. And then once inside, you get the people walking around, either in the physical store or on the website, and you ignore them, right? If you're not responding to their requests or their information, that's the equivalent of the shop salesperson ignoring you when you walk into the shop.
Yeah. Exactly. And imagine then after you leave the store, somebody calls you and like, hey, I saw you were checking out that coat. Do you want to buy it? Yes, I wanted to buy it when I was in your store. Now I'm looking at a car.
That's the equivalent of the email to recover your open cart on the website, right?
Yeah.
So and it's even worse if you are trying to reconnect or retarget the consumer on a social network, because that's the equivalent of going into a cafe, interrupting the conversation they're having with their friend and saying, oh, by the way, that coat, you still want that coat or those boots? So that's even worse.
Yes, that's actually a really good analogy. So basically live engagement in the way we define it at Whisbi is basically connecting your brands with your customers on your website in real time. This is the whole concept of live engagement, where we are taking all the benefits that you see in your retail store and the insights from your staff and adding those into your digital experience. Right,
and it's on the consumer's terms. So the consumer decides when they want to connect, when they want to engage, when they want to see the content, and the content should be personalized. You shouldn't have to download something. You shouldn't have to make an appointment. Yeah. I don't want to take a Zoom call with the salesperson. I just want to talk to somebody right away. I don't want to have to join a particular social network. So many people are canceling their social networks now with all of the noise or the information that's coming about how they work. So let's move away from that. Let's create this live engagement on the brand's website.
Yeah, and many brands have 0800 numbers, and we all know if you call those numbers, it goes straight to a call center. Somebody who doesn't even know you is gonna talk to you. But wouldn't it be more amazing if you can connect with the actual salespeople in actual physical shops that are maybe in your neighborhood or in your city, and have this most knowledgeable staff that you have already invested in help also customers online, creating a better customer experience and having a higher conversion rate at the end.
Yeah, and that's an important point, because the people that are in a shop are the people that they've chosen to do this. They've been doing this. Many of them have long experience. They're really good at it. They know the product. They know how to interact with people. They know how to explain why that coat makes you look so good in the wintertime, or whatever the story is, or why this car is exactly the car that you need to take yourself to the golf club.
I'm always amazed by, the Apple Genius Counter.
Mm-hmm.
Like they know every single phone, every single watch inside out. You cannot ask them anything, without the commitment of or the feeling that you have to buy something. So I think this is what brands should strive for, like a consultative selling, basically helping the customer understand better your product so that they can make a better informed decision of what to buy.
Mm-hmm. And that's from the consumer perspective, but from the brand perspective, equally importantly, the brand should control the interaction. So you want to get all of the learning, all of the data, the leads, build the relationship, manage the flow through the customer journey, and create the conversion, get the people to take all the steps down the funnel, without ceding this value, the value that's created here, to another entity, be that a social network or some other platform.
So let's have a look quickly how Whisbi fits into these different stages of the customer journey. So we have 3 different solutions for 3 different stages of the funnel. Very top of the funnel, the first one is called Whisbi Engage, and it's basically helping you increase customer engagement and deliver better customer experience on your website through video broadcasts that are happening in real time. To give you an example, here is, Here is one of our clients and how they use our Whisbi Engage solution. Do you maybe want to comment on this, Frederick?
Yeah, sure. So this is 3UK, the telecom operator in the UK. And what they do is they have our broadcast solution sits on their website. There's a button to activate, so you can enter into it whenever you want. And they broadcast many times a week, many hours. And it's so every hour on the hour for half an hour. They have different topics where they either share a new product or share some kind of new tariff plan, or help you solve problems, or help you understand how to take better pictures with your phone, or whatever, some kind of content that is useful to the consumer, and that creates that bond, it creates that relationship, it makes people feel more connected to the brand, but also provides real sort of informational value in that you can understand better, well, why should I have this phone versus the other phone?
Yeah, it's really cool what they're doing, and we're gonna dive into their business case a bit later. And then the second solution, which is called Whisbi Guide, is basically in the middle of the funnel when customers are considering a purchase and they're still not sure. Maybe they need help of like filtering through your products, or maybe they need to speak with different teams and so on. So this is where you can increase this conversion rate and generate more qualified leads completely unassistedly. It's basically a conversational chatbot that sits on your website, and it's just filtering the website traffic, and they can either complete purchases unassistedly, or they can be connected to your store agents or call center agents in real time. And this goes back to what we were talking about before. It's all about your lead response time. So what is quicker than an automated chatbot that works with your business rules? This is like the main point of this solution.
And it also helps you cover hours of the day and time when users are not, when your agents are not available.
It works 24/7 basically. And this is like a visual representation. This is Samsung Poland screenshot, one of our customers that we work with. And basically they have a quick qualification for their broadcast viewers to see if they're interested in a smartphone or another device. And then they need to put in their phone number and they can speak with somebody in real time. It's basically to show this qualification and lead generation process.
And it helps you filter out customer support questions that don't belong going to a sales platform, for example.
As well, yeah. And then when we come to the bottom of the funnel, where it's customers already ready to buy, they have received all the information that they need, but maybe they still have some questions that you would really like to ask, or you usually ask if you're in the store making this purchase decision. and it's called Whisbi Sell. And basically it connects your, like I said, hot online leads with your sales experts in real time. Our clients have seen, you know, a variation of conversion rate, but it's all around or over 30% with this assisted selling solution. Consumers are increasingly expecting this interconnected on-demand experiences. They want to speak to somebody when they have the time, when they are evaluating your product. And I think brands should really think about how they can start addressing those expectations that are basically forcing this new digital disruption that is happening.
It's important to note that this is a one-to-one conversation. So this is an interaction with a person that you can talk, you can see each other, and you can share screens, you can share information, share pre-prepared content. It's really replicating the kind of an interaction or kind of an exchange that you would have if you were in a shop with the agent. And another important point is that these agents can either be in a physical shop, they can be in a call center, they can be working from home, which is something that is very important these days, depending on the market. And also some of our clients set up what we call a dark store. So this is a store that is not open to the public, but it physically looks like a store. So it behaves, you can have the same type of visual interaction that you would in a store, but online. And then that can be put somewhere where you don't have to pay high street rents, and you can manage it in a much more effective way.
Definitely. And here's an example of one of our clients, Vodafone, and it's basically showing the feature of a video walk that comes with our solution. So the agent is able, just by using their smartphone camera, show physical products in real time, which obviously helps with making the purchase decision. They can show you different features and explain, you know, how a phone, for example, works and what are the benefits of having this device versus another. So let's talk about the results.
Yeah, how well does it work? I think, you know, here the objective is conversion, right? And the conversion can be either pushing somebody farther down the channel, getting them to take a test drive for a car, or actually making the purchase. And normal conversion rates for an unassisted chat are in the 2 to 4% range. For phone calls, 7 to 8%. For forms, filling out forms has a very low conversion rate. And conversion rates, once the consumer actually gets into the store, can be in the 15 to 30% range. And it varies based on the sector and based on geographies and based on you know, what offers are available and so on. But it's in that range. And what we're finding with the Whisbi, the one-to-one platform, the conversion rate is virtually the same as being in a store. So it's like a face-to-face interaction with the sales agent in a brick and mortar store. And that's what we really think that's the objective. That's sort of the final goal, is what we want to be able to do is reproduce that conversation that you have with a sales agent in a shop, but in a digital context.
Yes.
Recover that valuable retail experience digitally.
Yeah, totally agree. So we were explaining that we have some success stories to share with you today. So let's just jump into the 3 UK example. Would you like to talk us through this one?
Yeah, 3 UK, we talked a little bit about that before, but just to give some more details, we have, they're doing the broadcast every hour for half an hour every hour. And right now the presenters are working from home, and so they have a background that sits behind them, and they have some, you know, the materials that they need and so on. But the amount of technology that's required for them to do this from home is so minimal that it's very quick to set up, and away they go. And in some sense, you could even say that it creates an even more personal and more intimate type of an interaction, more real, because you just have this person. It's a normal human being. It's not somebody who is pre-recorded in a fancy studio, right? Yes,
exactly. Yeah. And we have also other brands that work with Whisbi and use the Whisbi Engage solution. For example, Hyundai USA, Hyundai Mexico, Volkswagen Poland, AT&T in the States. So there are really many leaders in the telecommunications sector, automotive sector, and others that are, really seeing the benefits of this live broadcasts that can happen on your website, either for product launches or just general information for each of their products.
And we recently launched a broadcast platform with an automotive company in the Persian Gulf, and they launched the broadcast by going for a drive. So you can actually do the broadcast inside the car using their mobile phone, and they went for a drive, and that was like the most interactive, non-stilted way that they could do this, and it was quite exciting.
I think
it was something that we didn't expect.
It's true. I think Skoda Poland also went out during this confinement because they're trying to avoid closed spaces, so showrooms don't really work. We also had like agents working from home and continuing, to offer this service to the clients online. So it was really a lot of innovative.
In the UK, the dealers were the salespeople were taking cars home and doing the broadcast from their own garage.
Yeah, that was really
which worked fine. I mean, it was perfectly functional and safe. Importantly, safe and without losing business.
Exactly. So another example is Vodafone Germany. So they're using our Whisbi Sell solution, and they use it in a way that they connect their retail stores to the Whisbi service.
And this is what I was talking about before, about the value of using people that are experienced sales professionals. So if you take advantage of those skills that you have in the network of shops and you put them online, I mean, it's really that simple. And that's far more effective than using call center personnel. Yeah,
and today they have 25 store agents connected to the Whisbi platform, which they're based in different stores across Germany, and it's really working well for them. They're achieving great results in terms of sales.
Our partners A1 in the Balkans are also hugely successful, especially now that they're back to lockdown, sadly. Yes. But the business doesn't stop.
Very important, business continuity.
Yeah, and so you can save jobs and you can keep the activity going, right?
Yeah. Next one, Vodafone New Zealand. They also use Whisbi Sell, and they are also connecting their retail stores. So here are some KPIs from this client. They have over 120 retail agents connected. They're connecting both consumer and business sales. They're achieving 22 plus conversion rates. They're achieving an amazing NPS of 54. And I think this data was for
this is over the summer.
Yes, over the summer, I think from April to May or June, something like that. So they have achieved a lot of sales as well.
The autumn in New Zealand.
Yeah, and you need to look at this in the way, maybe 2,900 sales, you think it's not really that much, but this is just for the Whisbi channel. You have other channels, you have your e-commerce site. So basically you need to see what an additional increase in sales you can get without getting more traffic to your website. This is just the traffic that is already there, and you're just not taking full advantage of them. So the next one that we have is Samsung, Germany and Poland.
And Samsung is running the whole package. They have started with 4 concurrent video broadcast channels to engage their visitors, and then these engaged viewers can go through a very quick qualification process using the chatbot, and then they can connect to a salesperson. And about those, the people that actually end up talking to an agent, about 90% of those come from the chat. And the conversion rate from valid leads to sales in the final point in the one-to-one sales solution is over 40%, which is really quite dramatic.
Yes.
And so here's something where we capture them at the beginning, the very top of the funnel when they're looking for information, bring them all the way down, qualify them, and put them in front of an agent to close the sale.
Yes, and interesting fact that approximately 90% of all the sessions start via chat. So the customer has an option; they can either start talking via chat or via a voice call. And yeah, it's interesting to see that 90% chose to start the session via chat. This also goes to show that we shouldn't tell customers this is the one and only channel that you can connect with us through. They should have the choice of selecting how they want to contact your brand. And Whisbi does just that. So yeah, if you don't have any more information about Samsung or stuff that we can talk about,
let's go to questions.
We can go to all our attendees and see if they have any questions that we can answer right now in real time. Okay, I got a message here from Nekane. Thank you for your question. What kind of equipment do I need for one-to-many solution?
Okay, the equipment for the broadcast is very simple. You just need a mobile device or a tablet. You need to have proper lighting and so on. It needs to be in a space that's appropriate. But really, the only equipment that you need is either an iPhone or tablet or some kind of a mobile device with our software installed. That's it.
Mm-hmm. We have a follow-up question on that from the same person. How long did it take to set up the 3 showroom? Well, as far as I know, they didn't really create any specific showroom. They literally used a room that was not used, like a small room that was not used before inside their head office. And the only thing they did is like buy a roll-up, the one that you would use at events, for example. So they would just have like a nice background of 3 UK. And then we always recommend customers to have like a stand that can hold an iPad or an iPhone device from which you would do the broadcast. You would download the app on that device, Whisbi app, and basically you can just start broadcasting. So I would say usually a setup time is around 3 weeks, but that's like a really long time, to be honest. You can start fairly quickly. And if you have more questions like this, or you would have to have like more in-depth conversation about your specific use case, I would urge you to go to whisbi.com. On any of our pages, you can connect in real time with our experts and they are able to do live demo for you. They can show you the Whisbi solution because we are actually using the Whisbi solution as well on our website. We also have a test drive Whisbi page where you can, play around with our widget and see how it works. So yeah, we're more than happy to, go into details about your specific needs at any time. Next question I have from Gavin. Thank you, Gavin. Is Whisbi GDPR compliant?
Yes, of course. As soon as the end user decides to engage with Whisbi, we ask them the proper questions. They give the ticks and the permission, and away you go. Yes, of course we are GDPR compliant and compliant with any local variations in other markets as well.
Yes, I think the California was the next one.
Yeah.
To do something similar. But yeah, like Friedrich said, we have been through many, audits and security tests and whatnot. We have global partnership with Vodafone and Hyundai, for example. So we had to pass a lot of tests and make sure that everything is compliant in every single way. So definitely no worries about that. We have a great...
We also work in financial services where the restrictions are even tighter and it's not a problem.
Exactly, that's true. Then we have another question from Ahmed. Thank you for your question. Can we use this solution for internal trainings? That's a good use case.
Yeah, to be honest, the platform is designed for sales purposes. It's designed to capture inbound leads and create a sales type of interaction. You can use it for training, but it's really not ideally designed for that. It's really meant for as a sales tool.
Mm-hmm. For example, like an example of internal training that would actually make sense is, for example, what Skoda UK did. They used one-to-many sessions to train their fleet managers on new vehicles. So they could train like a bunch of people at the same time nationwide without them having to actually travel and to the location and do the training in person. So that was like a really nice and maybe cost-saving thing that you could do, and it would still deliver the same value. Let's see. I'm not having any more questions coming in. Okay, I just got one. Sorry about that. Adrian, thank you, Adrian, for your questions. He just asked if the broadcast solution can be used on different landing pages?
Yeah, of course. It's the broadcast solution just is a small piece of JavaScript that you can put on any page. So wherever you can, any place where you can put a little piece of JavaScript, you can have the broadcast solution.
Yeah, I think
typically what we would do is we would have the access to the solution on a landing page, but then have the actual broadcast happen on a more central page. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. What is cool, I think, about Whisbi that brands can do is like buy additional channels, so that you could use, one channel for iPhone, one channel for Samsung, if you are like a big telco company that has many different brands, so that you can use specific JavaScript for those broadcasts just on those product pages. But you could also run the same broadcast, if it's a more generic one, on all the pages that you want. But we definitely recommend high traffic pages so that you get more viewers and more people engaged, and try to push them down the funnel. All right, another question from Jake. Thank you. Is there a way to track the performance of my agents through the Whisbi platform?
Yes, of course. The Whisbi platform includes a whole data analysis deck. It's called the Whisbi deck, which is the analysis platform where you can watch either collective performance or the performance of individuals. And you can look at specific campaigns or times of day, whatever. And we can also connect through our API to any other kind of analytics, through Google Analytics or Salesforce or whatever other Adobe, whatever other platforms the clients are using.
All right, well, Friedrich, I think this was a great session. I hope our viewers think the same, and that we have shared, a lot of knowledge with them, and that they're gonna further investigate our solution and try to improve their engagement with their customers online.
Okay, thanks, Ushka. It was a pleasure as always. And as you said, anybody who wants more information, please reach out.
Yes, thank you guys for joining. Have a lovely rest of the week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.